It was the first day of the new semester at Westview High, and the hallways buzzed with the usual chaos of students catching up after summer break. But in room 204, a different kind of energy crackled. The new English teacher, Ms. Elena Carter, had just walked in, and the class of juniors was already sizing her up. Little did they know, their plan to break her would backfire in a way that would change the school forever. Elena Carter was 32, with a warm smile and a no-nonsense posture that hinted at quiet strength. She had moved to the small town of Millfield to start fresh after a decade teaching in urban schools. Westview High was supposed to be a calmer gig, a place where she could focus on literature and mentoring kids without the constant drama. But as she set her bag on the desk and wrote her name on the board, a ripple of snickers spread through the room. At the back, a group of 4 boys, led by Travis Mitchell, the school's resident troublemaker, exchanged smirks. They'd heard about the new teacher. Young, new to town, probably soft. Easy target. Travis leaned back in his chair, tossing a crumpled paper ball toward the front. It landed just shy of Elena's desk. She didn't flinch, just kept writing. "All right, everyone," she said, turning to face the class. "I'm Ms. Carter, and we're starting with To Kill a Mockingbird this semester. Let's open to page 1. Her voice was steady, but Travis wasn't listening. He nudged his buddy, Kyle, and whispered something that made the group chuckle. Elena's eyes flicked toward them, but she said nothing. Not yet. The first week was a test. Travis and his crew didn't let up. They'd interrupt her lessons with fake coughs, toss notes when her back was turned, and make snide comments just loud enough for her to hear. "What's she gonna do? Give us detention?" Travis muttered one day, loud enough for half the class to snicker. Elena kept teaching, her tone calm but firm. She assigned extra reading, called on the boys to answer questions they hadn't prepared for, and handed out warnings. But the smirks stayed plastered on their faces. They thought they were winning. By week 2, things escalated. During a discussion on Scout Finch's perspective, Travis tossed a pencil across the room, hitting a quiet girl named Mia in the shoulder. The class froze, waiting for Elena's reaction. She paused mid-sentence, walked over to Mia, and asked if she was okay. Mia nodded, embarrassed. Elena turned to Travis.
"Pick it up," she said.
Her voice wasn't loud, but it carried a weight that made the room go silent. Travis just grinned. "Didn't throw it," he lied, leaning back. Kyle and the others chuckled. Elena didn't argue. She just walked back to the board and continued the lesson. But her jaw tightened, and Mia noticed. Word spread fast. By lunch, half the school was talking about how Travis was owning the new teacher. Kids in other classes started testing her too, leaving gum under desks, accidentally dropping books during quiet reading. Elena stayed composed, but the staff room was already whispering. "She's too soft," one veteran teacher said over coffee. "These kids'll eat her alive." Another teacher, Mr. Grayson, disagreed. "Give her time. She's got a spine. You'll see." But even he didn't know the half of it. Elena wasn't soft. She'd grown up in a rough neighborhood, the kind where you learn to stand your ground or get walked over. At 16, she'd stumbled into a mixed martial arts gym after school, looking for a way to burn off anger. She stayed for the discipline. By 25, she'd earned her black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and competed in regional MMA tournaments. She didn't advertise it. Her fighting days were mostly behind her, but the training had shaped her. She didn't raise her voice because she didn't need to. She didn't flinch at chaos because she'd faced worse. And she wasn't about to let a few teenagers run her classroom. But Travis didn't know that. To him, Elena was just another teacher to break. On Friday of the 3rd week, he pushed too far. The class was working on essays, and Elena was circling the room, answering questions. Travis, bored and itching for attention, started mocking her under his breath. "Bet she's never even been in a fight," he said to Kyle, loud enough for nearby kids to hear. "Look at her, acting all tough."
The group laughed.
Elena stopped at Mia's desk, her back to Travis, but she heard every word. She kept her face neutral, helping Mia with a sentence. Then Travis upped the ante. "Yo, Ms. Carter," he called out. "You ever throw a punch, or are you just gonna keep pretending you're in charge?" The room went dead quiet. Every kid turned to see what she'd do. Elena straightened, turned, and walked toward Travis's desk. She stopped a foot away, looking him dead in the eye. "Finish your essay, Travis," she said. Her voice was calm, but there was steel in it. Travis didn't back down. He leaned forward, smirking. "Or what? You gonna cry about it?" Kyle snickered. The other two, Ethan and Dylan, joined in. The rest of the room held its breath. Elena didn't blink. "You're disrupting class. Last warning." She held his gaze for a moment, then turned back to the board. Travis laughed louder, sensing weakness. "Told you," he muttered to his friends. "She's got nothing." But Mia, watching from the front, saw Elena's hands relax at her sides, the way her shoulders squared up. It wasn't fear. It was control. That afternoon, Elena met with Principal Harper. She laid out the pattern: Travis's disruptions, the group's bullying, the pencil incident with Mia. Harper sighed, rubbing his temples. "Travis Mitchell's dad is on the school board. Kid's been trouble since freshman year, but we've got to tread carefully. Document everything." Elena nodded. "I'm handling it," she said. Harper raised an eyebrow. "You sure? These kids can wear you down." Elena just smiled faintly. "I'm sure." She wasn't planning to fight anyone, of course. Her black belt wasn't for show, and she knew better than to escalate things physically. But she also knew Travis's type. Bullies like him didn't stop until they faced real consequences, or someone who didn't back down. She started planning. She tightened the screws, not with fists, but with strategy. She assigned group projects, pairing Travis with Mia and a few others who'd stayed out of trouble. She started calling his parents daily, documenting every incident. She gave him lunch detentions, where he had to write reflections on respect. Travis hated it, but he kept pushing back, unaware he was digging his own grave. The turning point came in week 6. The school had an annual tradition, a fitness day in the gym, where teachers and students participated in activities like relay races and dodgeball. It was meant to build morale, but for Travis, it was a chance to humiliate Elena in front of the whole school. He'd been stewing since her detention started, and now he saw his shot. During dodgeball, he rallied his crew. "We're going after her," he told them. Hard. The gym was packed, students, parents, even local press covering the event. Elena, in a school tracksuit, was on the teacher's team, holding her own but staying out of the spotlight. The game started innocently enough. Kids lobbed throws, teachers laughed, and the crowd cheered. But Travis wasn't playing for fun. He grabbed a ball, wound up, and fired it straight at Elena's head. She ducked just in time, the ball whizzing past her ear. The crowd gasped. Travis laughed, high-fiving Kyle. Elena didn't react, just picked up a ball and tossed it lightly at a student, keeping the game going. But Travis kept targeting her. Hard throws, one after another aimed high and fast. The other kids noticed, some cheering him on, others looking uneasy. Mia, on the sidelines, clenched her fists. Then it happened. Travis grabbed another ball, stepped close to the line, and hurled it at Elena with everything he had. This one was dead on, aimed for her face. In a flash, Elena moved. She sidestepped, caught the ball midair with one hand, and in the same motion, fired it back. Not hard, but precise. It hit Travis square in the chest, knocking him out of the game. The gym went silent. Travis stood there, stunned, as the whistle blew. Elena's expression didn't change. She just nodded to the ref and stepped back into position. The crowd roared. Some kids cheered for Elena. Others just stared, jaws dropped. Travis's face burned red. He stormed off the court, muttering curses. Kyle and the others followed, their smirks gone. Mia, watching from the bleachers, grinned for the first time all semester. Word of the dodge spread like wildfire. By the end of fitness day, students were whispering about Miss Carter's reflexes, how she'd shut down Travis without even raising her voice. The teacher's lounge was abuzz too. "Told you she's got a spine," Mr. Grayson said, smirking. But Elena wasn't done. The next day, she called Travis into her classroom after school. He slouched in, expecting another detention. Instead, she sat across from him, her voice calm but direct. "You've got a choice," she said. "Keep acting like this, and you'll keep losing. Or figure out what you're actually good at and do something with it." Travis scoffed, but she didn't flinch. "You're strong, Travis. I saw it in dodgeball. But strength's nothing without discipline. I can teach you that if you're willing." He didn't respond, just stared at the floor. Elena didn't push. She handed him a flyer for a local martial arts program run by a friend of hers. "Think about it," she said. Then she dismissed him. Travis didn't say a word, but he took the flyer. For the first time, he didn't smirk. Over the next few weeks, things shifted. Travis didn't join the martial arts program. Not yet, but he stopped targeting Elena. His crew followed his lead, their disruptions fading. Elena kept teaching, her classroom a mix of tough love and quiet encouragement. Mia started speaking up in discussions, her confidence growing. Other kids, inspired by Fitness Day, started asking Elena about her background. She didn't brag, just shared bits and pieces about her training when it fit the moment, like when discussing resilience in literature. By semester's end, Westview High was different for everyone involved. Elena had turned room 204 into a place where kids felt challenged but supported. Travis was still a work in progress, but he'd started showing up to class on time, even turning in homework occasionally. The school board never intervened. Harper made sure of it, impressed by Elena's turnaround. And Mia? She wrote an essay about Atticus Finch that earned her a spot in a state competition, crediting Elena's mentorship. The story of the dodgeball moment became legend at Westview High. Students still talked about it years later, how the new teacher had faced down a bully with a single catch and a stare. But Elena never let it define her. She was there to teach, not to fight. Her black belt wasn't a weapon. It was just a reminder that she'd learned long ago. Strength isn't need shouting. It shows up, quiet and steady, and changes everything.